Alan, this beer is delightful. Quite so, quite so. I would like another round of beer, perhaps. Hello and welcome back to me playing Pillars of Eternity, Lord through, playthrough, whatever you want to call it. Last time, we've went through the ruins of Silently, or whatever, through Valenwood is the one area in the Elder Scrolls, never mind, and entered Gilded Vale to a very warm, hospitable welcome amongst the dead, kind of. We met Aloth here,
Yes.
who is an Ederian wizard, elf wizard, and with him we're going to rest in the tavern, actually. We're gonna ask for a room. We can actually trade in the tavern. It's actually a perfectly fine place to trade some items like these wolves' hides, and as well as all this trash that you have. Lots of clicking, click, 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 click. As you can see, all of this trash barely gives you any money. Honestly, even armors, as you can see, it's like 40 a piece at best. It's really not big. It's not huge gains of money. So we're just gonna trade. It's 800 gold, but honestly, by the time you're done with this game, you're gonna be rolling in cash, mad cash. We're gonna sleep in the common room. You can see that there is different kinds of rooms. Depending on the rooms, you get bonuses for 2 rests. There are different bonuses per different rooms. There is, for instance, the Laborer's Rest gives you a 1 Perception and 1 Mechanics bonus for 2 rests. What does 2 rests mean? Essentially, when you're out camping with camping supplies, it counts as a rest. You can stack the survival bonus with one of the special room bonuses. But usually they last... The camping bonus lasts 1 rest, the rooms here last 2 rests, so if you want to maximize, you can maximize things by like shifting between each other and each and the other. It's a bit tricky. I don't think it's... I mean, I guess in Path of the Damned difficulty you might want to do that for certain options. It's also, I feel like these bonuses are more specific to a certain environment. For instance, perception and mechanics might be useful in a dungeon. To resolve might be useful during a quest. We're just gonna go with a common room. Get a little nice cinematic here. But most importantly, what we're gonna get is a dream sequence. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows trees. The creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inwards like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limping to one side as you look at her. She looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Lovely lady. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open. And they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher! You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still meeting your nostrils. That would be horrible, actually, that you have a nightmare and all of a sudden you actually smell the nightmare. Ugh. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Right, hello! Let's go to the dead tree. As you can see, actually, that's quite cool. If it's nighttime, the window here is gonna be dark blue, of course. Of course, you know, with nowadays technology, you might not think much of it. In fact, even the enhanced edition of Baldur's Gate has some sort of detail like this going on right now for certain areas. But, you know, I think it's a cool effect that they implemented. It's just unique for me. 2D game with such nice lighting effects. Even spells, they look so nice in this game. So smooth, really. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm talking during a loading screen. Alright, so the tree is up here. Who of these people do you think is the dwarf woman? Well, interestingly enough, there is a body glowing. Hey. It's a bit awkward, the positioning of Caldara de Beranzi's dialogue circle. But anyway, the squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the robe that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could search out and touch it. Not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Reach out for that woman. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out towards the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new and familiar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy, even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need to understand something that happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on. And those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder!
What do you mean, when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
I think I survived a bivouac. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
I'm saying quite alive if I'm at never mind. You said souls break apart over time.
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success.
Just as a side note, I'm gonna activate my decometer and just follow up the cursor of the mouse. Beep 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 beep. Okay.
A very small few resist Rimergan's
Beep, 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 beep.
influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
I wanted to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Well, who are you?
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
What happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
I will bid you farewell, dear soul.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Boris Waterskin was granted Crucible of the Soul. Alot looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seem lost just now. I am a watcher. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that is interesting. He gives you a sly grin. And I expect that explains your earlier reticence about your experience in the ruins, In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share things. Alright, let's continue on. I will explain everything there is to know about Watchers. Well, so basically she already mentioned a couple of words that we need to discuss here, alright? Mr. Rimgrad, or whatever its pronunciation is, it's basically the entropic god, as well as the deity of snow or cold in particular. As my decometer was clear on that, he is not very nice. Secondly, I am a watcher, she is an animancer. There is distinguishable things between watchers, animancer, and ciphers. There are three categories, all three related to souls. Animancers usually are the ones that study the soul. Ciphers are those that can enter someone's mind and research their soul, whereas watchers are someone that have souls awakened into them. They start remembering their past lives, essentially. Or rather, they have a soul. Everyone has a soul, and every one of these souls had a past life. It's basically the circle of reincarnation, I think, or something like that. Was it? From Buddhism? So it's essentially that in concept. And I'm a watcher right now, so those souls of mine, well, I'm starting to remember all of these past lives, and it's starting to blend. Normally, people do not remember their past lives. Furthermore, last episode there was a mention of the Hollowborn. The Hollowborn are particular children that are given birth without a soul. Without a soul, they have no emotion, they don't have any particular... They just don't feel. They don't feel anything. They're alive, they breathe, their heart practically beats. They're biologically alive, but they're just husks, essentially. Empty husks. There is another couple of definitions to define. There is, for instance, a couple of beasts that we're gonna encounter, like ghouls, vampires, which is basically vampires, by the way. And these are all related to souls. I think ghouls are like... I don't remember correctly, but there's like 3 definitions. There is like the soul of a human that enters back into a human body, gives birth to basically a zombie. Whereas the soul of an animal that enters a human body gives birth to another kind of monster. Whereas the vampire, I think, is like those that kept their soul when their body died. When their body started decaying, they said, no, my soul will stay inside me. And they basically become like leeches or vampires, you know? So that's actually a very important distinction to make. There is a lot of soul-related facts because, let's be honest, the game is all about souls after all. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk to someone else now.
17 and a half.
Excuse me? The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthly and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
I'm sorry?
The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
What a nice guy. What are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Hello, frowns. Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
What makes you think I was interested in dwarf woman? He looks at you a moment, his brow arched. His smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
I've been out of sorts lately. Of course, we all got our bad days when we stand perfectly... Yeah, let's go with a southern accent for him. We all got our bad days when we stand perfectly still and stare at corpses a while without blinking. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like a dare, does it? Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
None taken. Good. They don't mean it personal when they hang folks here. Have to remind myself.
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
The war? Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Fellow decides he is the living incarnation of Eothas. Overthrows Friateris, marches on Deerwood, so we gave him a Deerwooden hello. What's a Deerwooden hello?
We blew him up.
He smiles at this, but it is the smile of one recounting a joke for effects rather than enjoyment. Who is Eothas? God of rebirth and redemption, formerly anyhow. Maybe they call him something different where you're from. And other questions. I got time. Why was your headman hanged? Got involved? Redrick sent men down here the other day. Said they had it on good authority someone in town was working with Kolsk. Or Kolsch, if you prefer. I've heard both pronunciation for this name. Plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right and then, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward, so Swithin, that's my headman, he steps up and says it's him. They took him at his words. He sighs and shakes his head, his eye fixed on the tree. Bound to happen sooner or later. If not for plotting against Radric, then for protecting me. What does your town have against you?
Pick the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, and then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Radric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
Alf glances at you and lowers his voice. You can see why I was eager to leave. Who's Kolsk? Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now, probably will be till they catch him. If you're next to be hanged, what are you still doing here? He gives a half smile. Drinking, mostly. Point in fact, I'm on my way out. Just haven't figured where I'm going yet. There's a whole lot of places out there that don't think Waidman's legacy started with Wyden. We could travel together. Where you headed? Some place called Cadnua. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
That's correct. There's a fine reason if I heard any.
All right then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
Let's get going. Alright, here is Mr. Adair. Okay, he mentioned a couple of words that we need to discuss. Eothas, the god of... what was it again? Well, Eothas, the dead god. Widwen, Reacerus, Radric. First and foremost, it's a distinction that I didn't make when I first played the game. I was a bit 30 back then. Reacerus and Radric, despite the fact that they're kind of similar in name, they're not connected at all, period. Okay? Good. Good, 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 good. He's gonna build up some athletics, some mechanics, some survival, sorry. What would he actually get the best out of? Damage reduction and possibly this too. If we can get to 7, that would be grand. But for now, we're gonna build up some athletics because that is for second wind very useful. Now, usually he gets bonus knockdown here because he, as a warrior, has an ability called knockdown, which is the thing that the wolf used on me last time. It's pretty decent, but getting one more use when you have already 2 per encounter, I don't know. I don't think it's that good. Rapid recovery now, that one here is good. Plus 5.9 endurance, 6 endurance every 3 seconds for the next 45 seconds. That is really, really good. Alright? You might not think of a lot of it, but it can make the difference. It can definitely make the difference. I go with Rapid Recovery. So this is Gallant's Focus. It's the aura for non-paladin classes, which gives them a boost in accuracy. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So yeah, we're gonna go with Rapid Recovery here. And we're gonna go to the next level because he has one more. We're gonna build up maximum athletics as much as we can. Now here, actually, he has one spare point. Let's put it in stealth. Here, he gets either defender ability. This is really nice. It is -5 deflection, but for any difficulty that is lower than Path of the Damned, it is no risk to have a -5 deflection penalty. Deflection is everything in Path of the Damned. It's really everything. Damage reduction, I haven't seen many things stop the monsters on Path of the Damned. Damage reduction was not a thing that stopped them. Deflection is. Deflection is really nice for tanks, but having 2 enemies engaged means that he can be attacked by 3 enemies and not be flanked. Only the 4th one that attacks him will be his flanking enemies, and only then he gets a bigger disadvantage at deflection. So overall, if there is crowd controlling to be done, he can take up the crowd while your damaging guys are actually taking care of him. You can put a big ass shield on him for more deflection. You can equip him a hand axe for more deflection. There is ways to recover this 5 deflection. I don't know if this is a good ability for Path of the Damned. I have no idea, but it is certainly very good here. Other abilities is Confident Aim, which gives him a passive effect of 20% if it grazes, converts to hit, and 20% minimum damage bonus, which is pretty nice. Disciplined Barrage gives him once per encounter 20 accuracy for 15 seconds. It's okay, not best. And this modal ability gives a friendly aura of +10 deflection for a self aura of -10 accuracy. So he hits less, but in turn everyone else around him in a range of 2 meters deflects better. So yeah, warriors are really good frontline tanks. They're really good tanks. You might be thinking, maybe paladins are better. Well, maybe. Paladins have bonus to will, so they cannot get charmed as much. That's really nice. But I think warriors ultimately in a physical fight, punch to punch, they excel. They really excel. Particularly in less than Path of the Damned. We're gonna activate Defender right away.
What is it?
Now let's discuss the lore as we return back to Valewood. Weidman, well, Weidman is basically a farmer from Red Ceres. Red Ceres being the nation to the north of Deerwood. This is Deerwood right here. Here, this is not Deerwood here, by the way. This is Air Glanfath. This is Deerwood. Alright? Up there is the White March, and up there someplace is the bridge. I don't remember the name. It's well, I do remember the name, but it's a bit of a spoiler right now. It is a bridge where the Deerwoodans had their last stand against Weidwen. Weidwen, as a farmer, became really powerful. Claimed that Eothas himself, he was the avatar of Eothas himself. He became a tyrant king of that nation, literally a god king. And when he did become a god king, he took all the armies and said, we're gonna conquer the Deerwood. And no one was able to stop them, to the point that there was a town that said, like, well, a Deerwooden town that said, like, well, if we do not interfere, this army will let us live, so we're just gonna let them leave them alone. And this village, by the way, I don't remember the name, but it's gonna be mentioned much further down the path, in the expansion especially, because we're gonna meet someone from the village. Well, Weidwen's army passes, comes to this bridge. Weidwen, everyone doubted that he was a bloody god, of course, but he was disintegrating people with a single touch. He was just turning them into cinders. He was really, really powerful. But, as Mr. Adair here told us, the Deerwooden didn't have any of that shit, so they blow him up. They created an atomic bomb, or the fantasy variation of the atomic bomb, and they just kaboomed him out of the stratosphere. He died. Aethas did not respond to anyone anymore, so make that what you will. Maybe Aethas was within that body. We'll discuss that lore and potential fanons later, because I have a fanon on that. There is a lot to discuss. There isn't very much certainty whereas Aethas was in that body, but I have an idea of it, right? So now we're in the cave map, by the way. Now we're in free, so we have likely all the power necessary to kill the bears. Now there is a bear. This is a big bear. And there's also a baby bear. Before we do anything, we're gonna press F button. It opens the costume formation menu. And we're gonna put Adair right here. We can actually put Aloth a bit further down the road. I think that's safest for him. Now, by right-clicking formations, or rather left-clicking formations apparently, you pick costume formation number 1, which is my formation. And you can see that they actually put themselves in the formation that I set up. Well, technically speaking, I think it would be best if I had Adair like that, so I have an easier time shifting between them.
Yes.
And now we save, and we enter combat with the bears. Because you can see a young bear and a bear. Mama bear hits hard, real hard. But at this point we are a bit tankier than we were when we were fighting the oozes, so God knows, maybe we'll manage to kill them. Adair can take both of these. So what I'm gonna focus on is this young bear, with Flames of Devotion even. Next, I'm gonna use our curse to blind these guys. As you can see, these bears hit hard. Adair was not able to knock down this mate, but apparently I was able to flippin' massacre that poor bear, baby bear. Okay, now Adair is gonna quickly use that ability if he manages to. Okay, he's full healed. Let's use another Minoleta's minor missiles here. Well, we killed the bear. The spell wasn't necessary, but just in case. It was a good fight. It was not bad.
What is it?
This fight, I feel like on hard and Path of the Damned is absolutely impossible without a party member. Anyway, there's a couple of things here. There is a greatsword. We already have a greatsword equipped. There is no reason really to use it. There is some mice scrolls through the eye sockets of the... and the over... Wait, what? Yeah, mice scroll through eye sockets and over femurs. Okay, so there's bones there. Oh yeah, there is bones there. I didn't notice. There's a lot of bones. What is that? It is a soul. A spirit. A figure drifts, suspended in the musty air of the cavern. Its form and features blur and twist in cascading ripples of incandescence. If only I could be so grossly incandescent. You feel its energy eddying about your limbs, filling them with heavy chill. Let's reach out. You reach out a hand for the spirit. In the moment of contact, you feel as if you have been struck a blow, head reeling as you tumble helplessly into a waiting darkness. Light blooms at the edges of your vision. You feel the sun at your back and the weight of a bow in your hand. You know suddenly that you have come a long way from the Vale, hunting deer. Now you are standing before a cavern, and the darkness extends far into its depths. Even so, your friend strides out before you, his red cloak flapping at his heels. You follow, heart hammering in your chest, as he leads you deeper into the cavern. There is a roar like thunder, echoing around you. Fear seizes you, casts you stumbling back towards the exit, towards light and escape. You see a glint of steel, and there is a sudden, terrible flash of agony behind your knee. You scream, stumble, fall. Your thoughts are chaos, lanced through with pain, but in a moment of terrible clarity, you see your friend look back from the mouth of the cavern, his dagger daubed in crimson to match his cloak. Then there is a great dark shape above you, and then there is more pain. The vision recedes, and you are thrown back into yourself with seemingly resentful force. The corpse lies at your feet, and the specter lingers in the span of energy between you both. You feel a sense of questioning, of confusion, of anger. You are dead, spirit. There is nothing for you here. The spirit roils with thwarted anger and grief. Sorrow seems to seep into the very air of the cavern. The spirit dims and fades until you are alone once more.
Yes.
Well, well, well. This is the guy, the friend of the guy that we met at the camp outside of Valewood. He said that the bear struck him down. Well, we know better now. We certainly know that it was a human that struck him. If we go now to his camp, there's going to be a little container that we previously could not see. And I actually checked when we entered the area. There's this note right here. Folded note. My dear Nanton, please be safe. Know that whatever happens, I love you still. Now, in the village of Gilded Vale, there is Ingrid's house, right here. Well, how do I know that this is the house that we're interested in? Well, you basically just bugger into everyone's house until you find the house that you need, really. Well, look at that. There is this man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices you approach and pauses, her smiles faltering a little.
Good day to you.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man, Nanton? Nanton coughs. Yes. I think we met in the Valewood. I warned him about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you made it. Was there something else you wanted? You two seem to be in a hurry. Yes, I imagine so. Ingrid laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit the Files Bay, and... She looks at Nanton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Nanton reaches to take her hand. It is time for some new scenery, he says. I know what really happened in that bear cave, Nanton. The color drains from Nanton's face. I don't know what you mean. I told you the truth of it. Are you accusing him of something? Ingrid looks to Nanton, touching his arm. This is about the accident. We're both grieving Pearlie's loss, but it was a wild animal's doing. Nanton shakes his head minutely. You see a tremble in his hands. What made you suggest such a thing? I had a vision in the cave. I saw Pearlie's last moment as he left them. I saw you cut him with the knife. That's not possible. Nanton stares at you. How could you possibly know? His hands fall to his sword belt. I left no sign. Nanton, wait. Ingrid raises a hand. I don't know what you saw in the cave, but this isn't what you think. Pearlie, my husband, he was as much a beast as that bear. I tried to leave the first time I suffered his temper, but he wouldn't have it. She looks away, expression pained. Nanton, we met, and I knew I'd found someone special, someone kind, who cared for me. Please, all we want is to leave this place, to start somewhere else. She looks down at the satchels. We've some kind, saved up. You could have it, if you'll only let us go. No. Whatever reasons you caused the man's death, I am taking this to the magistrate. I don't know what you think you'd tell the magistrate. A story about a dream you had? Nanton sneers. But you won't take this from us. Not when we're so close, and not for that wretched Pearlie. Nanton draws his blade. Jesus Christ! Brother Eoth has reborn! You fools! Alright, well, let's murder these assholes. To be completely fair, they kinda deserve it at this point, don't they? Yeah, get wrecked, nerds. Aloth, sweetie pie, start shooting with your wand. Oh no! Your girlfriend died and you died afterwards. Hey, don't judge. Don't judge. It was the right thing to do. We get a ring of deflection +5. It's not bad. It's not a bad way to make some money. We're gonna give this to Adair. He's basically gonna get the deflection bonus back from the defender ability. Just with a single ring! A single ring! And then we can steal up everything from this house, like David Part 2, the Broken Stone War. Oh boy, that's gonna be a long story when we're gonna discuss that. Alright. That was good. That was good. That was not bad at all. Unfortunately, their lives ended, but to be completely fair, they caused it. They could have been sincere with me, straight up. And if they said something more convenient, if they didn't try to bribe me, I might have let them go, honestly. The bribery is what triggered me there. Oh, hello. We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through the door and gets a sock between his eyes. God hear me, Seymour. I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads. But we'll be back, Trumbull. And we'll have fair prices, or by the flame, we'll have a reckoning. How did you like my voice behind the door? I think it was pretty good. Oh, never mind. Let's enter the light. It's not a lighthouse, for crying out loud. It's a windmill. Let's enter the windmill, because apparently the moment the guy leaves, they just open the door. An elven man stands before you. His relatively stocky build suggests a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and a woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back, if you value your life! Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates, then throws the club. Wait, I know you. You just came in town, right? Don't tell me Seymour already got his claws into you. God, that's all I need. My name is Boris Waterskin. I've only just arrived in Gilded Vale. Trumbull shakes his head. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all its shines caped off. Just a big dung heap now, and Seymour thinks he is king of it. They're all of them mad. Who's Seymour? Is it Seymour? It says Swainer. Okay, Seymour. Let's call him Seymour still. The dwarf. The one standing out there spreading his lies among the villagers. Bastard's been here for decades and he hasn't got any kinder with them. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club a fraction. Who are you? Is Seymour roping foreigners into his little crusade now? I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seemed pretty angry. Really? Trumbull sighs relief. Highly states could I use a friendly face. I take it you heard some part of what that crowd's asking for. Grain, as if I got all tucked away for somewhere. Strainer has been asking that lot on for days now. They've been keeping clear so far, but if things keep on like they are, I don't know how much longer we've got before things get messy. Please, if you're not here on his behalf, maybe you could speak to Seymour. He won't listen to me anymore. Just explain that we're all getting small rations now. We're all making sacrifices. I will see what I can do. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him.
Yes.
Alright, well, where could a dwarf and his riot rebel lads go to if not a tavern? Probably a tavern. Another one. Well, he went to the tavern, by the way. So the elf there mentioned Mrs. Hailey, or whatever you want to call her, and her tits. Now, I don't know about her tits, but I know she's a bird, or rather, the goddess of birds and sky, I feel. There isn't really much to tell about her. She's part of the pantheon, I guess. It's just part of the pantheon. She's just a god. She's just a god, guys. Just a god. Alright, let's find Saner, which is right here. Hello, little dwarf. Little dwarf man, hello.
Welcome.
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Keep walking. We're not here to chat with foreigners. Alden narrows his eye. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those roadies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it too. Trumbull says you've been threatening his family. Oh, I bet he has. All nobility, that Trumbull. 2 big, strong kids, pure soul, and all Gilded Vale. Cowards sending out messengers to handle his business. Well, you can go and tell him we haven't had a solid meal in days on account of him, and we can't afford a good drink on account of him, but we won't be bullied by some foreigner on account of him. Haul Saner up of his chair. If you want a fight with Trumbull, let's make it a fair one. Hey, hold on there. Saner raises his hand defensively, eyes big. No need to get nasty. We won't get near the miller. Places, we haven't done a thing to him. We're just hungry is all, and looks like that isn't changing. You want to side with the rotten bastard? You go right ahead. You and this whole fucking town.
Well?
Watch your tongue, mister. Alright, well. This part is actually taking a bit longer than I hoped. I foolishly hoped that I would be able to complete like all of these areas around here, but I guess I was wrong. So funny. Shut up. Let's talk to Trumbull.
Hail, traveler.
Trumbull nods a curt greeting. You're back. Have you had any luck with Saner? I spoke to Saner. Trumbull takes a deep breath. And? What did he say? I convinced him to leave your family in peace. Why, that's... Really? That's great news. I wasn't sure you'd go through to him. They're out of their minds with drink half the time. I owe a great debt here. Oh, wait. I owe you a great debt. Here. He pulls a coin purse from his hip and pushes it towards you. Today's earning, to show my appreciation. And you can be sure I'll let everyone know what you've done for me. Glad to help. Now we stand a chance of getting through the year. Trumbull smiles broadly. All thanks to you. Safe travels, friend. Now we're gonna do just one little thing still. We're gonna go to the Black Hammer Smithery. And we're gonna accept a quest from the smithy. From the smith particularly. Because I know that he gives a quest. It's not a big quest, mind you, but still. I thought that we might be able to do much more in 1 hour time. And, you know, with cats it might be actually a bit less than 1 hour. But honestly, I feel like I'm pretty happy with this. Now, you cannot steal any of these, by the way. As you can see, it's stealing. Don't steal from people, guys. Actually, apparently I can take whatever is on that shelf freely. Well, thanks, I guess. It's lore. Let's talk to this man. This Amawa man of an impressive build towering above the countertop. His skin is dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face coated in smeared soot, and arcing black tattoos alike.
Hail, traveler.
He grins, revealing a row of pointed teeth. Hey, those are my teeth. Welcome. Good to see a new face. Is it armor you want, or a good blade? Is it your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the year. Good luck and bad. Tautanu glances at the guard standing watch along the wall. But Black Hammersmithery remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet. All forged right here at the Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now. And I haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my worker ran off with the wagons themselves, maybe to make some coin. Tautanu snorts. As if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. The dire situation in villages like this and the exodus of the cities have created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Tautanu scratches his jaw, thinking. If you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for our supply wagon. Or my shipment, at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace Lord Raderick. Tautanu glances at the nearby guard. And that's as it should be. But it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. I'll find your supplies. Tautanu nods. Then you have my thanks. You bring those supplies back and I'll have plenty more to offer. A discount to start. Oh, and if you find my workers, tell them to hurry it up, or they can take up farming instead. Actually, let's check what he has for sale. Apparently his voice is more like, Hail! Hey there! I'm a big ass of marijuana! He actually sells a very interesting buckler for paladins only. It gives 8 deflection plus 5 3-meter aura to all defenses. It's pretty decent, but a tiny bit expensive. And plus, it's a you require a one-hand item for it. Cape of Withdrawal gives you 15 defense when disengaging. It's not bad, I guess. It's not great. This one here is very nice. You can summon an animant once per rest with this item. You must, if you're going solo, this is some of the better items you want for going solo. I'm gonna buy a pry bar simply because sometimes, such items can be useful. There's a couple more things. He sells a unique lance, which gives 1 constitution, has a bigger reach. I think pikes in general have much more reach than any other weapon. So you can basically stand behind the main tanks and still hit. So this is basically one of the better weapons for, I don't know, thieves maybe even. Because thieves, they get bonus, they basically get the backstab bonus from flanking. Flanking means that there is a certain number of enemies on an enemy. Or rather, a certain number of people engaged on top of an enemy. So you can just have a lance on a bloody rogue and just wait there in the second lines and just hit them for added damage. It's not bad as means of tactics. I prefer faster weapons for rogues, but Also 20% grace converts to hit. He sells a stiletto, which is really nice. This is actually a really nice weapon, starting weapon for rogues and possibly other classes like Ciphers. Ciphers also can get quite a nice advantage. It's a fast one-handed weapon. It does a bit less damage, but it has a free damage reduction bypass. It's not much, but for starting areas, it's pretty decent. You can certainly get that much money to buy it. And Hold Wall is a unique arbalest. It does a lot of money, but it is incredibly slow. Now, normally, arbalests are even slower than this, but this one has 20 attack speed. Personally, it's not the best one, but I think if you want to go with an arbalest, you can. Ciphers also get some bonuses from such weapons. However, I suggest you one thing. If you do go with slow, very slow ranged weaponry, try to get a Chanter. Chanters get an ability which basically makes every ally in the radius of the ability reload faster. It's really good with arbalests, arquebuses, pistols, what have you. It's really good. Minor Ring of Protection is basically like the cloak we have, and this one we already saw, but it's a bit it's not a bit, it's actually way too expensive for us. So we're just gonna go ahead with this. And this is 9 damage reduction, 7 for this one. Not much. Okay, we're gonna go with that.
Well?
And before we end, I'm just gonna go in front of a particular house because we still have to talk to a certain lady that we've already had mentioned in the first episode. Kalisha's sister. She lives in this town, yeah? Well, she lives here. Ofra. That's her. So we're just gonna speed there, we're gonna quick save, and that's good. We're gonna call it quits for the day. Why is the frame dropping to 30 right now? I'm recording at 60 frames per second. This is not very decent. Oh, it's fine. And we're gonna save here. Unfortunately, I didn't do as much as I hoped. There's a lot of talking, and there's gonna be a lot more talking in the next episode, believe me. Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, be well. Bye! And now, time for some blippers! Rumble to the water. Yes. Good. Wait. Sayer. Swainer. Tickle. My fancies. And despite all that, I still love you. The squad distended. Ugh, distended. Okay. I failed. Let me note that down. Lost spirit. Lost spirit. Fucking read, bro. Okay.